Good evening. So, first of all, before I forget, I want to wish everyone a happy new year. And I hope that 2022 is going to be better than 2021. I think 2021 was probably a bit better than 2020, but not much. But I think people maybe thought 2021 couldn't be much worse than 2020. There were points where it was looking like it was going to be pretty good. I'm just talking in general terms. And kind of nearly made it, but then it looks like, things have taken a bit of a downturn. So I'm in a different room. It's a bit echoey in here, I do apologise. And if you're wondering what this swirling mass is, it's the final remains of the Christmas decorations. And I thought, well, this is a podcast, let's just leave it looking at some random Christmas lights. Anyway, I wanted to make this video, really I wanted to make it before New Year's Day, but just with everything at the moment, it's just finding a time and peace and quiet to actually make a video and not be interrupted. Really difficult. At Christmas time, a lot of people around, family, friends, demands, trying to do stuff, but anyway, so it's the first day of, obviously, it's not the first day, it is the first day. You might be receiving this video on the second day of 2022 or the first day, but I made it on the first day of 2022, and I thought I'd look back and just go over some of the gold purchases I've made, talk about a few things and what I'm going to do in 2022. I haven't bought any bullion. The last thing I bought, obviously I bought these, I bought some 1 gram gold bars. That was the last thing I bought at the beginning of December. And that's it. I haven't bought anything else since. So I've been kind of watching the gold price with interest, and just to see which way it's going to go. And we obviously had that little dip back in where were we? It was where were we? Yeah, we went under 1800 on the 29th, which is quite interesting. But we had a really good dip on the 16th of December, 1780s, and that was a good buying opportunity. And then I think I managed to get in around then. I think I got in on early December. I think I got in at about 1770. It did go to 1760. That was the last time I made a purchase, so I'm relatively pleased with that. But now we're at what seems to be about 1830, so not quite $100 gain. But in some ways, I try to tell myself, and maybe take from this what you will about stacking gold, whether you're new to it all season. But for me, it's kind of, you got to be careful obsessing over the price. I kind of find that when I've made, a significant purchase, I'm like, I don't know whether you're the same. I think, okay, I'm going to buy some gold. I've got some money, a budget, whatever it is. Let's just say, for argument's sake, $500. And I start looking at the price and studying it and sort of waiting for a moment. And then after I've made my purchase, I kind of find I'm fixated with the gold price before and after. and then after a week or so, then I don't really care that much, and then you might come back and look at it a bit later on and think, oh wow, yeah, that worked out okay, or well, if only I bought it now. But as I relentlessly bang on about, I'm really not too worried about the short term price fluctuation. I mean, we've seen it all before. I think it's just human nature. It's nothing. There's no shame. There's no shame in buying something at X price, and then a week later, or a day later, an hour later, it drops, and you think, oh, I should have bought it. At this price, if only. But I always find once I've bought it, I'm glad I've bought it. It's not often I find that you make a gold purchase and then immediately regret it within, an hour later or a week later. I suppose only in terms of, on my lights, my Christmas tree light's dying. Can you hear it squeaking? I might have to turn it off actually. It's only, I think, it's if you've overstretched really. That's when it hurts. I think, if you think, oh God, especially if you're spending quite a large sum, and there's nothing to worry about there. But like I say, I think it's far easier to hang on to your gold, for your physical gold, when it's in this form rather than when you've got, say, crypto in a wallet, because it's quite easy just to go online and if you feel like a bit worried about the price, you press a button and you liquidate your crypto. Whereas gold, when that arrives in your house and it's in your hand, that gold bar, coin, whatever it is, you've looked at it, and then you go and put it in your box, under your bed, or in your lockup, in your safe, wherever it is you keep it. It's 100 times harder to go and paper hand it, as they say in the crypto world, to just go and, I can't, to buy something on Monday and then take it down the gold dealer and sell it on Tuesday, it's pretty much, it's not going to happen, is it? There can't be many people who've done that. So, over this last year, I think I probably bought, what did I buy? Maybe 6 or 7 ounces of gold, some 1 ounce coins, Completer coin from the Queen's Beast, which was a good coin. Bought Buffalo. I probably must have bought an ounce in gram bars, 2.5 gram, maybe more than that, maybe about 2 ounces in some 5 gram bars, 2.5 gram bars, and 1 gram bars. So I do like my small bars, especially if you can get them at a reasonable price. And then what did I buy? I bought some 10th ounce Britannias. I probably bought half a dozen, at least 1 10th ounce coins. I bought some 1/4 ounce Britannias. So maybe it was more like about 5 ounces, which was okay. I wish, I could have probably bought more. But I think, you have to be thankful. We do have to be, without preaching. We are, if you're, what was it they say, that if you earn over $30,000 a year, you're in the top, you earn more than 95% of the world, or something like that. Not that I'm saying that's a great wage, but I suppose what I'm saying is that when you look at the fact that, most of us listening to this video, if you invest in precious metals, may have around thousands of dollars worth of, precious metal bullion in your home, or wherever you got it, you got that. There's a lot of people that will never, ever be able to get their hands on afford these assets. So it's just, you could say the same for property or fine art. But, you know, buying a one ounce silver coin is a struggle for some people, you know, and to keep it. And I think, you know, I take my hat off to you if you've managed to keep that going, you know. So it's all relative, but human nature, you probably always want a bit more. You always, you know, like I say, when you look at it and you think, oh, you know, I could have saved $100 if I waited here and done this or done that and studied the price a bit more and waited for an entry point before I bought my gold and all the rest of it. In the end with physical bullion, I just don't really see, you know, like I say, if I'm prepared to sit on it 3 to 5 years, 10 years for me for a lot of this stuff, he says, and then I'm fine. The long-term projection is good for gold from the charts that I look at and the experts that I listen to, but, you know, I do listen and talk to a lot of people in this, say a lot of people, you know, 2 or 3 people, but I listen to a lot of, you know, research, read a lot of research, and the conclusion is that the long-term projection is great. You know, well over $2,000 gold in the future. Looking at the end of next year, you know, people are really bullish, saying $3,000 gold easily. You know, some people are a bit more cautious, saying, you know, the new base next year will be around the all-time high. You know, 1920 we're going to see next year with runs up to 2,000. You know, won't be uncommon. And all this is great, you know. Of course, the more bullish it is and the more excited, you know, you get about the price going up in the future, the more you think, oh, I should have bought more, should have had more, I should be buying more now. You know, should I be going all in? You know, should you just be selling some more assets and going all in? And that's the big question, really. That is the question that is on everyone's mind. But when I look at the fundamental, I have to stand back sometimes, just look at what's going on and take away all the noise of what's, you know, I spend my time sometimes looking at, you know, I am being a bit naughty actually in doing some day trading of gold, which I'll come on to in a minute. So I'm looking at 1 minute charts, daily charts. I'm looking at 15-year overviews, you know, Fibonacci retracements. I'm thinking about all these things and, you know, what's going on in the world, politics, inflation, interest rate rises, all these things, you know, what does it mean for buying gold? And at the end of the day, it all just comes back to the same thing. Literally, it just all comes back to nearly the same thing everyone's saying, which is just long time, fine, long term projections, great, short to medium term, you know, nobody wants to really stick their neck out. It's like, you know, could be some downside pressure this year if interest rates go up. You know, crypto's stolen a bit of gold's thunder, but, you know, if all that doesn't, you know, impact on gold, or the interest rate rises don't happen and COVID comes back and there's more supply chain lags, more shutdowns, more inflation, then gold's going to the moon, you know. So it's like, yeah, well, what I find surprising is before COVID and all this, the economies are all in shit state. Anyway, we're all due a recession. We're due a damn good washout in my mind. And it's just not happened with all the money printing that's gone just to keep everything on life support. It's just incredible, really, when you look back at what's going on. You know, recessions are a good thing in the end. It's sad that some innocent people do lose their jobs and livelihoods, but I believe through the recessions that I've been through, most people come back stronger. You need a washout of the weak businesses. It's just part of the cycle. And this has just been stopped for some reason. There's a new I sound like such a conspiracy theory, but there really is. If you're over the age of 35, you'll know that the way would be that every 10, 12 years you just get a recession and a wipeout, and then it's all crashing, then it all goes, all comes back and everyone's happy. I say everyone's happy, after the rebuild, and then, the cycle starts up again. We've not had that. And that's kind of worrying. It's the only thing I'd say is hanging right over me is there going to be some mega, when some huge crash, which will then mean that gold and silver will move up sharply and still do what they do, but it's just the pain of being in the middle of that. If you've got exposure, say, you're trading, day trading, or you happen to go all in on some physical, if you went all in on physical, say, what are we at now, 1830, the market's opened. I mean, it's very bullish at the moment. Gold, it looks to me, really bullish at the moment. And let's say it's 1900, 1950, and then you go all in, and then we get a crash, because it does feel it's due. It's just when and what's going to be the trigger. Is crypto going to be the dot-com bubble of 2000? And is it going to be the catalyst which causes a crash? I think the difference between, in 2000, I think there's a lot less money around for these dot-com ventures, and ISPs and software startups and all the rest of it. Now there seems to be so much money available for these crypto ventures and industries. They almost can't fail. It's kind of interesting. I don't know enough about business, business analysis and economic analysis to really know what is stopping, propping it up. I don't think it's just government's money printing. The amount of retail investment money that's about feels to me there's far more money around now than there is 20 years ago. So, maybe there isn't going to be a question. Maybe it's just, we just carry and plod along, and everything goes to the moon, So, but I think, so where I am at the moment with it all is that I will. It's funny, isn't it? As soon as the gold price goes up, like it has, nearly $100 since the beginning of last month, beginning of December, we had that dip. It's suddenly like, it makes me want to hesitate buying it, because it's like on just like a little mini bull run. But again, you look back at when it's 1950, 2000, I'd just be weeping that I didn't buy it. Like I was so stupid to be moaning. I remember when it was like around $900 an ounce 5 years ago or so, thinking, it's so expensive, it's just ridiculous. Nearly $1,000 an ounce for a gold, oh God, it's kind of, but unless you've got money to burn, then I think most people might feel the same. So I will carry on stacking. I'm going to be a bit more careful about what I buy. I'm not going to buy anything that's too extreme and out there. I think I'm going to just stick to Royal Mint stuff, American coins. I'm probably not going to buy anything that is going to be difficult to shift should I need to. And I did have a strategy, where I'm trying to buy one to sell, one to keep if I need to, in the short to medium term, should the gold price go to the moon. Because, if it does go $3,000 an ounce in the next couple of years, or $5,000 an ounce, who wouldn't want to realise some of their profits? Because you may need to, for whatever reason. But I think it'd be so cruel, but hard to part with all your gold at that price. I mean, you could say, well, that's great, you've done what you've invested it's not really supposed to be used like that. Gold, you don't really buy gold to pay you a dividend or a yield. It's a store of value. It's a store of wealth. But I have to strip away all that, and just the fundamentals remain that if you buy something for $1,000 an ounce today and it's worth $5,000 an ounce in 2 years' time, then I don't care if it's a piece of wood, silver, gold, whatever it is, it's probably going to be pretty hard not to want to liquidate that and realise the profits from it, So that's probably my plan, is to try, and as I go forward, to position my portfolio so I'm buying, stuff that is numismatic that I want to keep. I do like collecting gold coins. I do like gold, So I have my own personal purchases for me that I will keep long term. And then the things which I want to, if I go to my local bullion dealer, and he's got a half sovereign in there, and it's a reasonable price, I'm just going to buy it. I'm not too precious about it. It's just gold. I wouldn't worry too much about it as long as the price is reasonable. But I think in terms of buying like really high-end numismatic stuff from the Royal Mint, they've got collector coins, like their new releases of this 2022 sovereign, which I know I'm going to get some real hate on this, and it's not because I haven't got one, but I just don't see the big hype about this 2022 design. To me, it just looks like a glorified pound coin. I totally see that it is a lovely coin. It's a great coin, don't get me wrong, but it's not groundbreaking to me, really. I just feel, and congrats to anybody who's making money on flipping them and got in there. I'm not saying they're not any good. I just personally don't feel that excited by the design. So I won't be buying that. And I didn't get in to buy one, I'm not going to buy one, I'm not going to be buying an Elton John gold coin, that's now 2 ounce gold coin. It's like trebled in value. It's like £6,000-7,000, for these things. Outrageous, just being, I'm going to sound like such a miserable old git with this, but it's clear to me that there's quite a number of YouTube channels peddling Royal Mint collector coins and coins from other mints and sets, especially the Royal Mint though, and whacking them in a slab, and then and everyone's getting all hyped up, and these channels have got a lot of subscribers, and I just think there's YouTube, certain YouTube content creators in the bullion are driving the hype of what is fashionable and trendy and what isn't. And when you just got to stand back and look at it and go, really, really. But maybe I'm just wrong, I just don't rate. It just seems to me like, there's never a fail. Every coin, nearly everything that comes out from the Royal Mint is wonderful. Every proof coin, slab, MS70, PF70, whatever it is in slab, it's wonderful, and it's going to go to the moon, and it's the greatest investment ever, and you should get one. Do you see what I'm saying? It's kind of like, and you are gonna pay through the nose for some of those coins, and it's a bit like, I kind of feel like it's a bit like the people who got into certain cryptos really early on and bought them at like 9 decimal places, who, fair play to them, they got there. It's a bit like this with some of these Royal Mint releases. Only a very few people that have got those coins, that got a PF70, MS70, will actually be the heroes and actually make have made it was worthwhile them paying that premium on that coin, and the rest of us could be kind of left holding some baggage really that is just a bit of hype. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to say about that. So really, you have to do what's best for you and what you think is a good purchase. Do your research, look at YouTube videos, but just have that in mind. I've done it myself. I've literally done it myself with silver. Which I'm going to make my video. I've gone out and got hyped up about some Royal Mint releases, newsletters, colorized coins, gone all in, spent thousands, and I'm just, it may be a long time until I realise the value on those. Nice coins, don't get me wrong, but so I think gold is quite in a good place at the moment. Last year was very sideways for quite a long time. For most of the year, we did have a couple of moments where, look on the daily chart here, which you can't see. I mean, obviously we had the all-time high in August 2020, and then since then it's been a downward trend, and in January 2021, I think there's some COVID fears leading up to January, beginning of the new year, we hit 1950, and then for whatever reason there was a big drop off, sell off, all the way down really into March, and we're back into the 1600s, and then it took a long time, took all the way till June. We got back up to 1900s again. I think around June last year, people felt that, was this the moment? We're breaking the all-time high again. We're around, was it 1915, something like that. And then no, didn't, slapped all the way down again, all the way down to like low 1700s in August. And then I'd say, really probably since July, really, July 2021, it's been in a range of, this kind of low 1700s to, very low 1800 range, really, 1824. But, give or take, probably this $100 range, we could say, for really a good 6 months. And we've just seen now, this action we've had at the moment, where we did get up to the end of November, we did hit sort of 1817, got rejected. We're getting rejected, near, when we start to get near 1900. But I think, where are we now, time of making this, we're touching 1830. If we can break through, 1850, then we could be looking at again, 1900. When really, I guess the next resistance level, to be fair, is probably going to be like 1865, something like that, 1870, to really get us up to 1900, which could come, in my projections, by middle to the end of this month, if we carry on this trend. But obviously, we did get rejected at around 1915 back in the middle of August last year. So, who knows? We're going to have a period of consolidation around 1900, really, aren't we? But anyway, that's enough from me rambling about gold. So, going to keep buying. I'm positive on it, and I'm just going to be a bit more sensible on the metals I pick up. I'm going to make a video on silver and cryptos. So, have a great new year, and leave any comments or questions, and do share this around, and I'll see you soon.